Let me tell you a tale of
Aladdin. We're doing Aladdin
podcast.
Again, here we go. Hey team, Angus, Strachan here, and welcome to the Film Slice Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Wiggly, Kane Dog.
Comedian extraordinaire.
And Bro Diddly Doo, the man formerly known as Bro Diddly Doo, Broadman Richards. One day I'll get this right.
One day.
But this week he is known as Aladdin. Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Aladdin in the house.
All right, we got Kane Diggly Wiggly, Kane Dogs, and Aladdin in the house.
Wait, there's Aladdin in the house. Nobody move. Why is there Aladdin in the house?
Why can't you move with Aladdin in the house?
We don't know
He's
who
a big
this
lad.
is. He's a big lad. He takes up a lot of room.
Big lad, small house, you decide.
All right, and this week we are reviewing the new Aladdin 2019, I guess you call it.
Is it? Does it have a subtitle? Is
don't
it
think it
Aladdin,
does.
Prince of
I
whatever
think it's
or
just
whatever?
Disney's Aladdin.
Strainer Rock Johnson
Again.
in it?
Made by Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, not who I would have picked.
Nope.
What a guy, what a guy. Now, before we get into this, we should probably do a special shout out. Kane Dogs, you went on to another podcast. You stabbed us in the back.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
I
fuck.
did. yeah. No. I was recently asked. Well, we were all asked to guest appear, and then you two were like, "Nah."
I believe I was like, yeah, and then Jordan was like, nah, I'm going.
Yeah, no, that sounds more familiar.
I recently guest appeared on another podcast called The Dirty Harry Minute, a podcast where they review minute by minute the 1971 classic Dirty Harry movie, and each podcast is a minute. And I was super out of my league there because it was the two guys that usually do it. I think there's three of them and one of them was sick that day, and then two quite well renowned comedians. And me.
And our own
And me.
Geordie Lee Jordan.
And you can find them on all... They were really cool, actually. So head over to them. They're everywhere you get your podcast and Spotify, which we haven't figured out how to do.
How do they do it? Did
What
you
was
ask
great,
it?
though... Yeah, here's the thing. I think, like First Rule of Fight Club?
Yeah.
First rule of Spotify is not allowed to tell anyone else how to get on Spotify. I was like, how do you do it? They're like, can't tell you. Not telling you. I was like, but we want to go on. Like,
me
no.
in the car park.
Like, either you're on it or you're not.
Awesome. So what was the podcast name again?
The Dirty Harry Minute.
Okay.
One dirty minute.
One dirty
Sorry,
minute with Harry.
That's a whole different podcast that me and Angus used to do. We don't do anymore. Don't talk about it.
Yeah, so head over to that.
Head over to that, suss it out, let them know if we're any good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, I already did. I told him we were real bad.
Sweet. So, Aladdin, Kane Dogs, while
Yeah.
you've got the microphone, would you like to whip out that IMDb summary?
I absolutely can
Shall
do that.
we?
I'd love to head over to the IMDb summary. Aladdin topped the charts. Nope, different. Never mind.
Wow.
That's the trailer. If I could just head over to the
Trailer shop?
Really dragging the name comedian through the dust, Jordan.
all right. Okay. Here we go. A kind-hearted street urchin and a power-hungry Grand Visor V. What?
Vizier.
Vizier?
Yep.
V for a magic lamp that... Here, read this, will ya?
Jordan can't do it in one job.
A kind-hearted urchin and a power-hungry Grand Vizier vie for a magic lamp that has power to make their deepest wishes come true.
Thank you, Cane Dogs.
No worries. Much like a cartoon released back in the day of
Beauty and the
pretty much
Beast.
the same story.
Yeah, different name. Weird Beauty and the Beast, but basically the same thing, yeah.
1992 version of that.
Really?
Yeah, 1992. It is older than us.
Yeah, most things are older than us.
Yeah.
Anything that isn't 24 years old or less is older than us.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm pretty sure Jordan's 25 because he's an old bastard.
Look, I'm at least 45 years old now. I've aged a lot in the past 2 days.
Sweet. All right, there we go. When you see the movie and what do you think?
When you see the movie, what did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
Cane Dogs, what do you
yo.
think of the movie? When did you see it?
I saw...
That's how that goes.
I saw it Saturday, I want to say.
Yep.
And...
Ooh, bit foggy.
Yeah.
I think I saw it
That's the whole movie.
Look,
Look.
2 days ago.
I thought it was real bad. There's some enjoyable moments if you have a nostalgia for the film, which for Aladdin and
disagree.
For Aladdin and Hercules, I do have like a bit of a nostalgia for those two specifically. There is some enjoyment to be had, but for me, it was overshadowed by how many weird mistakes were made along the line. So, yeah, I'm not a fan.
Alad.
Alad in the house.
In the house.
I wonder what Alad thinks. I don't think I should have asked him.
You've broken him.
I saw it Sunday afternoon. I thought it was pretty shite.
Yeah.
Ooh, a bit
fair.
foggy.
That's fair.
Angus, when did you see it?
I saw this movie 2 days ago, and I too thought it was pretty bad.
bad.
Pretty
Nailing
nasty.
Pretty bad.
I disagree with you, Kane Dogs. I think if you've got nostalgia for the first film, this film is
Shit's
10
all
times
over it.
worse.
Yeah, it's even worse.
But there were a few little gems that I did
Yeah.
like, a few kind of diamonds in the rough.
As someone that hasn't seen the animated Aladdin film in a really long time, and as someone who doesn't keep near to that sort of world very much, it was cool to just be taken back to I remember the storyline of this movie, and I remember those songs. They're done worse, but for someone that grew up with Aladdin and hasn't watched those movies since, it's cool to revisit that world, even if it was much worse.
I disagree. I reckon it was super shite.
I'm one of those people that kind of do keep up with
You
the
watched
whole
Aladdin
Disneyverse
every day.
and-
You've seen it every day.
Not anymore. But same thing. When you hear the songs, you're like, the original was better.
Yeah.
The original was better.
The last time I heard any
the
of the songs was
original
when our one and only Angus McClangles
this is gonna get cut.
performed it.
Angus
And,
was in fact Aladdin
Angus played Aladdin. Not
the-
racially insensitive.
in the year 12. Yeah,
Yes.
we whitewashed it.
I still had a beard, a big
Picked
red
a
beard.
Scottish guy.
Yeah. That was actually called Aladdin.
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 Aladdin. Wow.
Aladdin.
Aladdin
When he had
of
to
the
go into the cave and
of the
steal
Highlands.
go into there was a magic
Prince Achli.
there was a magic kilt ride. Incredible.
Magic kilt, right?
And you had to go and rub the magic bagpipes. It was great.
Lads, you know how every week I put up on Instagram and Jordan puts up on Facebook, which
Thank
I
you.
absolutely love.
And I don't put it up on Twitter.
And Brody doesn't put it up on Twitter.
Anymore. You've really fallen off of that, haven't you?
He
Really.
just hates Twitter.
Yeah.
I personally love it. He just hates it. I put up what movie we're reviewing, and I ask our Slicey Slicers out there what their thoughts are on the film, and normally no one replies. Well, guess how many we bloody got?
None.
2, the old huge.
Probably Brody and also Brody.
Yep, 2, the old huge.
Yeah.
All right, so we got from Hooverman, 91.
Good to know this is the movie that's killed our streak. Past 5 movies we've had people write in. This is the movie where everyone went, yeah, not even I'm going to write in.
Yeah, to be fair, I did put it up 3 hours ago, so that is my bad. I will take a bit of bad on that.
No, not a bit of it.
To be fair, it's lucky even those two messaged in.
All right, anyway, this is from Hooverman 91. He said, Flappy sucks. Again, here's the blonde one with the scarf.
So,
Fair enough.
so just so we know, I walked in 10 minutes before we started this podcast. So that has to have been written 10 minutes ago or less.
Yeah, first time you've
We have
worn a scarf
we have the
this year.
blinds open. Obviously,
Specifically the first time I've worn a scarf all
he's
year.
a neighbour of ours.
Next one,
neighbour.
next one is from not.filmslice.host.
Also, bro, good to know that it's saturated the market.
He says, movie is shit like Jordan's jacket.
I really like that jacket. The GF bought me that jacket.
Sweet, that's what our Slicey Slices thought on Instagram. Cane Dogs, anyone hit you up on Facey?
Yeah, the GF. We have Georgina Bramwell who wrote in.
Really? Are you guys not talking except in Facebook?
We're only communicating via Film Slice podcast.
That's the best
Facebook
kind of a
page.
relationship.
Probably because of that
yeah.
shit jacket.
It's long distance. We live together, but we refuse to talk to each other now. She says, I loved everything except Aladdin. I can clarify she means the actor that portrayed Aladdin, not she loved everything but the movie
But the
Aladdin.
movie, yeah.
And then she writes, Pika Pika.
Tick one, and anyone on Twitter, Broadman?
No,
Sweet.
didn't put it up.
All right, that's what
Twitter.
our Slices License thought of this week for Aladdin 2019. Disney's Aladdin 2019. That's the one that we're reviewing this podcast. Let's move on to our next segment.
Firm grasp of what's happening right now.
Thank you. Let's move on to our next segment. Would you recommend it? And who would you recommend it to?
Freaking
What?
nailed it.
Yep, said it perfectly. K-Dogs. Who would you recommend it to?
Look, I don't think I'd recommend this to anyone. I think either you're a fan of the original, in which case, watch the
Just
original.
watch the original. Yeah.
Or you're an adult and you want to show your kid Aladdin because you loved the original, in which case show them the original. Or you're a kid and you saw the trailer and you want to watch Aladdin, in which case, as a parent, don't spend the money, just watch the original.
Yeah.
Or go see the stage show, which is incredible. Like, I haven't seen it, but apparently really good. I did listen to the music recently of the stage show, and that also really, really good. Yeah. Very solid.
There you go. Laddie.
I would not recommend this as it was shit.
I would, again, probably not recommend it to anyone. I guess if I had to recommend it to people, it would be kids, because they didn't grow up with the original Aladdin. And it might be, like, I mean, the animation is probably a bit dated to what they're used to now. But, I mean, that's grasping at straws. Really, just watch the original.
I don't think any kid that only watches this is going to fall in love with this movie, just like so many of like people our age and older fell in love with Aladdin as kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sweet. Anything else before we head into spoilers? I think it's pretty open shut. Also, spoilers is probably not going to be that spoilery, seen as it's the same movie.
If you've seen it, it's the same. It has the same ending.
All right, let's head into spoilers.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
All right, we are in the spoilers section where we dissect and divulge everything about the film. You've been warned. May God have mercy on your soul.
You've been warned?
You've been awarded a nugget of gold.
A silent.
Yes.
You've been awarded a nugget.
You've been awarded
the very sought after Nugget Awards.
K-Dogs. Any cinema dicks?
We had all of them.
Like
everybody
all of the dicks.
That's a lot of dicks.
Everybody, like all of those, like, you know, someone was on their phone, or kids talked the whole way through, or someone kicked the back of the chair, or someone talked, or someone took a phone call, or someone left halfway through the cinema. All of them were in this film.
Laddie.
Whoa.
Cinema dicks.
Yeah, some people on their phones. I didn't have much of a cinema dick, so I decided to prepare the following.
Oh no.
Jordan's knee, the hairiest knee, eat some tartar. Got no pecs, no one gives a feck, could take a long pee. Cause Jordan really sucks. Yeah, Jordan really sucks. Go run away from Jordan's knee. There you go, you're welcome for that one, ladies and gentlemen.
So you can find that one on Spotify.
We don't know how, it's already there.
From the artist, Laddie.
My knee is hairy proportionate to the rest of my body.
It's pretty freaking hairy. And covered in tartar.
Just my knee, though.
Why is it covered in tartar?
I slipped.
Trying to find a lyric that rhymes with a barbwa.
I would have gone barber since you're already talking about hair.
Yeah,
Go to a barber. Damn it! Shut up, Angus. Go eat some tartar.
Let's head into our most positive things. Good luck, everyone around the table.
Okay.
Who would like to go first?
I got one.
Go for it.
Look, no matter what you think about this film, Will Smith is still charismatic as fuck. So he's gotten drive for a lot of people. He's done a lot of films. I still really enjoy seeing him on screen. Really sick of, like, look, he's on Jimmy Fallon, and this time he's going to talk about how he borrowed $10 off someone at a petrol station or something. True story, actually happened. He talked about it. But thing is I still found him really charismatic. He was awesome. Didn't nail all of the songs for me, but I also think that has to do with the way the songs were written for him. But all of his scenes and where he was
just... / Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Well, they were written for the stage show prior to that, but for just all of the scenes where he was either ad-libbing or just, like, you know, reading the script and having general conversation, really enjoyed it.
Laddie.
I thought that there were some incredibly, like, visually impressive scenes. Like, especially the Prince Ali scene when, like, getting introduced into the city. It's just like 1,000 people entering the city, all covered in different colors, and there's an elephant and all this junk. And it's genuinely...
An elephant and all its junk.
Yeah, elephant and its junk. Just run into the city.
Slapping people in the face as it walks past.
Yeah, that's the biggest cinema dick I've... No, it was genuinely... It looked good.
Yeah, I agree on that. Kind of going off of that, all of the kind of Bollywood-esque style stuff I thought was a really good addition to the film. So, like, when I say, like, Bollywood stuff, it's like the big number pieces, the dancing, all that stuff. So there was the Prince Ali bit. There was another kind of dance scene that was very Bollywood-esque style.
Bollywood stuff was cool, but it also kind of melds into... like a weird thing that I found is just like there was like weird, you know, the weird rap moments that were there for a little bit, and I was just like, what's this?
Yeah,
and the fact that Will Smith had his American voice throughout the entire film.
They clearly were like, "Hey, Will Smith, will you do it?" And he was like, not a big ballad guy. And they were like, no, it's fine. We'll just make it all rap.
Yeah, we'll just
and
make
it was like,
it urban.
oh, okay, cool. So we'll just cut all of those really important things that people remember from the songs short and replace it with like a weird offbeat rap.
It was a little bit
instead.
weird. It was a little bit weird. But like the only person that that had like some sort of like Indian or African dialect was the one white girl that was the handmaiden to the princess.
Yeah.
Everyone else had an American accent. It was just such a weird thing.
Yeah.
It was just like, they all sound American except for her.
Handmaiden really good in this movie, I thought.
That was my positive. Fuck yeah.
Go on, Angus. I mean, Angus, what's your positive?
The handmaiden.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm so glad none of us brought that up. Like I was
So-
going to, but I thought you might use that one.
I immediately recognize her because she's one of the actors on SNL.
Yeah.
So she's been on SNL for quite a few years now, and her comedy was just like a breath of fresh air because her character isn't in the original one, so she kind of had like a clean slate just to be like, yep, just make this character your
And
own.
newly written jokes.
I feel
she
like
did, and
she got
just
caught a little
worked.
bit between her free jokes and then the direction because there was some scenes where she was very different and then there was some
To
scenes where
others,
she was
yeah.
really, really funny.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's really odd.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like probably the big standout joke was the door closing and opening again.
Yeah.
Like they did it a second time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It's a bit of fun, you know? It's different.
Bit of fun.
Yeah, sweet. All right, that's it for positives. All right, Cane Dogs.
Maybe we should start with Angus.
Yeah, Angus, go first.
Nah.
Okay,
Yeah, okay,
Jordan.
no.
Okay, report your son.
All right. Okay, so my biggest negative was the music video that they just kind of shoehorned into the last act.
With Jasmine?
With Jasmine, when everyone just
Yeah.
kind of faded away. Obviously, Thanos clapped his fingers together, you know?
It's so much more flamboyant to be like, I'm gonna destroy everybody. And everybody just disappears. Olé, should have gone for the head, bitch.
Yeah, that weird music scene and just
Yeah.
the shoehorning of
there were
this-
new songs, right, written
Yeah.
for her?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why there was such a completely different style.
You
and it
can
didn't
tell
fit
that
in the
they were
film.
written and
Yeah.
they couldn't figure out how to put it into the film.
The problem is that the reason they put it into the film is so that some pop artist later down the track can do a rehash
Their
of the
version
song
of it, yeah.
and then put it up on radio and hit #1 on billboards or whatever it is. Like the themes that she was like singing about made sense, and I've heard people talking about the theater production of Aladdin that do have similar themes of Jasmine's, but this wasn't one of those songs.
There's a
and
lot
it just,
more songs
it just
that-
didn't fit.
Yeah.
And it was too kind of Aladdin's not really belty, and
Yeah.
the song was just so belty and just not a fan.
The other thing is with
fan.
that song is the rest of the songs in this movie are written to be, instead of a character talking, they're singing.
Yeah.
So whether they're talking from someone to someone else, they're singing what they're saying, or if
Yeah.
they're just thinking to themselves,
Which
they're
was
singing it out
weird
loud.
when there was some
Explaining
moments
or-
where the music was louder than the lyrics and you couldn't hear the lyrics.
Yeah.
Do you notice that?
But because of that, when Jasmine has her song, instead it doesn't fit the continuity of how songs work in this universe.
It's literally
Like
a
they-
music video.
like
You could
instead
take
of-
that, make it a music video and put it on Vivo or whatever, and you wouldn't have to change anything.
But like, instead of someone being like, I feel really bad about myself, or like, you know, actually singing what they're thinking,
That's just Jordan's
I
inner
don't listen to your
monologue.
music.
a moment into my life. But
Sort of
instead of
glimpse
singing what
into
they're
the life
thinking,
of
they
a real
actually-
life comedian.
they paused like the actual story and just had her
Yeah,
walk through and sing a song and then go back and was like, yeah, that never happened.
I see. It's
Really
like
weird.
you could literally cut that out of the
And it'd
movie
be the same
and it'd be
film.
the same film.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, who wants to go next, Laddie?
Jordan does.
Cool.
Sure. Biggest problem I have with this movie is there's two really big plot holes that my brain just can't like get
Ignore.
around.
That's not a plot hole, that's a cave.
With the lion's head. This is great content.
Waiting-
Go, Kate.
waiting
Come on, well, we need the comedian to chime in here. We need the
waiting for that
comedian.
to die.
John.
The two big things that I can't get over is one, Jafar has mind control. Now I know that that's in the animated
Hypnotism.
show, but when I was a kid, I wasn't thinking about plot holes. But as an adult watching it, Jafar has mind control.
Why hasn't he used it before?
Why hasn't he used it all the time? Like it seems
He kinda
like
does.
Yeah, but it seemed like he was like, he tries to use it at the beginning and he gets interrupted. And instead of being like, oh well, I'll just try again tomorrow or any other time
like,
I have
"God
an audience, he's
dang
like,
it.
yes, that plan
That
will
was
never
my
work.
one time.
Yeah, but like, his first plan is he wants to be Sultan, which just means he has the ring in the hat, right? Now, from there, he realizes that doesn't work. But that first part that he wanted, he could have done with mind control just by going, hey, you want to give... I don't know why I'm gesturing like I'm holding a staff. You can't see me, but... like,
that's a staff.
Yeah, that's a staff. That's me gesturing a staff. It could have been him just saying, hey, you want to give me the ring and make me Sultan. And then the dad would have been like, yeah, I guess you're going to get the ring and be Sultan.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, great. And then
More like assaulting you with my staff.
And then the guard is like, yeah, but just because you're Sultan doesn't mean I'm going to follow you. And he could be like, you're going to follow me now. I'm using mind control. You follow me now. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then Jasmine could be like, I'm not going to let you. You're going to let me. Look, I've got mind control. So nothing. Yeah. Also, why did he have to trick Aladdin into going in the cave? He has mind control. That plot hole is insane. And the other one is where Aladdin goes, so I really like this girl, and she's a princess, and she can only date a prince. And here's 1,000 different ways we could fix that problem. The one of which is perfectly feasible, is at the very end of all of the movie. Genie goes, I can just make that law go away, and all is fine. Like, I can just make that law not exist. Do that at the beginning. Done. Brody, what's your biggest negative?
I'm not a comedian.
That's your biggest negative.
Got it. What's your biggest negative? I'm not a comedian.
Okay, my biggest negative is the performances of the actors while they were singing. While they were singing, they were kind of just looking with like a dead stare into nothingness, just opening their mouth so their voice sounded good. And because it felt like you can either, when you're making a movie like this, you can either have them singing on set and capture that performance, or you can have them sing in a studio, have that song, and then for them to perform on set.
Which I think for a musical is far better to dub it, because then you can...
No,
I think it's better. I think it's better to dub it because at least they can properly emote.
Here's
and
the
not
thing.
Be weird.
Here's the thing. I think it's a good idea to choose one or the other. I feel like for this film they did both. I feel like for this film they recorded everything on. Like they were like, go, yeah, I want you to actually sing it on set. And that's why they're actually standing there opening their mouth as wide as possible so people can hear their voice. Like trying to sing, not paying attention to the rest of their performance. That's why Jasmine, while she's walking, she just has her hands by her side until there's a choreographed
pause.
moment where she has to clutch her chest. But then her hands just go by her side and it's like very boring to watch. But she's still, like, you can tell that she's actually singing.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as the track. The track is like a backing track which they've recorded beforehand. Yeah, so they've done both, but the problem with doing both is that it just doesn't work.
It looks weird and doesn't sound right.
Yeah. So it just completely took me out of the entire film.
Yeah. While we're on that, I absolutely hate the dubbed voices over everything happening, because like
that's what they did
these
in Greatest
actors
Showman,
are like, it's just kind of generally what they do now. But like, you know, back in the day of like Wizard of Oz and stuff like that, those actors are singing on set,
True.
while they're doing their actions. That's why those actors kind of go down in history, because they're like fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
I feel like this is just the audio version of I will fix it in post. If an actor is like going and singing and then they sit down or they like climb upstairs or anything and their voice is unwavering, it doesn't sound natural. Like it doesn't sound right. It sounds like a music video.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then on top of that, the performances went great while I was singing, so it was just like, what's the point?
The dancing was weirdly sped up. So they did that thing where they had to speed up the dance beats because it didn't fit with their recorded song. Yeah.
Hey, look, it's the 90s and we're cool. That felt so out of place.
Yeah.
Did that feel out of place to everyone else?
Yeah, it
like,
felt
how
out
many
of
people
place.
do you know that beatbox?
Yeah.
Today.
It's Prince Ali from Ballet. Oh, it's fantastic.
It was so weird.
The fresh genie from
fresh genie from Ababa.
Yeah, so that speeding up and slowing down thing is like very common in like Bollywood films and like Bollywood numbers, which is probably why they did it. But I don't think they did it enough for it to be worth
purpose.
anything. Yeah. And then the problem that I found with it was they didn't do it right at the start. They first had like a slow motion kind of thing, and they didn't really do any slow motion thing after that original like. It was during
there was slow
Aladdin's...
motion when the monkey tried to catch the ring.
Oh yeah.
What a suspenseful moment.
Frodo. But like, yeah, I think they needed to either do it in all of it or not at all instead of just.
This was such a weird grab bag of trying to be impactful, I guess.
I think this is them.
It just failed on all points.
Also working out what's gonna, because I think Aladdin and The Lion King. I don't think Dumbo, but Aladdin and The Lion King are probably going to be sure hits. Generally speaking, on the market anyway, so they can probably afford to be like, we'll see what works
yeah.
and what doesn't work, and we'll fuck around a bit for this film because
Yeah.
we're gonna make a bunch of money because it's called Aladdin.
I didn't like some of their modern references, like when the genie was talking and he did like the mic drop thing, and then he was like in like a flight attendant's outfit, and I was like, they didn't have flight attendants back then.
Yeah.
How about this?
It is like very reminiscent of the Robin Williams one, but I think that's
it's been
because
so long since I've seen it. I have no idea if he did it.
comedy is that. Like, that's what Robin Williams comedy is, whereas I think they've tried to put Will Smith into Robin Williams' genie, which, it doesn't really work.
How about...
the other thing that I didn't like was the whole kind of bookends with the genie at the start. So you see, like, it opens up, Will Smith is on the boat, and he's like, all right, kids, I'm going to tell you a story.
And I went, okay, I know how this movie ends.
All right, yeah. And then right at the end, he's like, well, I guess I'm just a person now. And then instead
is he just a person, or is he just not?
Yeah,
Which
he's just a person. He just doesn't have any powers anymore. The other thing that I really liked in the original one, which they didn't do, is they broke the fourth wall. Like, the genie was actually talking to you at the start, or, you know, it was the market guy. He was actually talking to the audience, being like, hey guys, I'm going to tell you guys a story. But it just kind of fell flat when they're like, just telling two kids about it.
They made a lot of weird changes to this movie that were far worse.
Yeah.
Good example is, in the original, in the animated, Aladdin tricks Genie into letting him out of the cave by being all like, I bet you couldn't even get us out of this cave. And Genie's like, I'll fucking show you. And he gets him out of the cave. Whereas in this one, they're like...
I want Jordan to play the next Genie.
Yeah.
I'll fucking show you, Aladdin.
I'll fucking show you, Aladdin.
You dickhead.
You dick. But in this one, it's like, I didn't...
Shit house.
But in this one, it was like, you said I had to rub the lamp before I say I wish, and I didn't rub the lamp. And the reason I hate that change is because the first example shows Aladdin being intelligent. The second one shows him just being a bit of a dick. Like, the first one is him being like, I reckon I can outsmart this genie. Like, I get he's a powerful genie. But this is why
And then he
Aladdin
outsmarts
has...
Jafar at the end, and then it's just like,
But it's like, this is why Aladdin has value, because he's intelligent, and he's like, you know, he's got that street smart.
Real
Whereas in this one, it's
diamond
just
in the
like,
stuff.
you said I had to rub the lamp, and I didn't rub the lamp, and it seems real, like, childish.
Yeah.
Instead of smart. How about the moment in this movie where Jasmine already knows Aladdin, or Prince Ali is Aladdin, but later on, Jafar is like, I bet you didn't know that Prince Ali is actually Aladdin. And it cuts to Jasmine, and she was like, you knew that. What are you talking about? And he's like, I'm so ashamed. I'm like, you knew that. You already knew that. I think the idea is that
she thought that Aladdin was Prince Ali.
Yes, but the thing is he doesn't say otherwise. Jafar just says, I bet you didn't know he was Aladdin. He doesn't then elaborate and say, and he's also not a prince. He just says, I bet you didn't know Ali was Aladdin, in which case she'd be like, yeah, I know. He pretended to be Aladdin on the street. I already know this. He told me this. None of that gets corrected. So,
You're an idiot,
what
Jafar.
an unintimidating character to play Jafar.
Jafar is the least memorable villain of all time.
Yeah, because like in the cartoon, he's like this like really long like nosy guy. He's like
I would have felt like
but in this he's like, I don't like you for some reason.
Yeah.
I have a snake staff.
And a bird that says very little.
50, maybe 40% of the time.
Unless I'm interrupted, in which case...
No, don't run away from me. I'm quite frail.
It's just so weird.
Yeah.
Such a
I
weird
like to
Jafar.
steal things when amidst draping sheets.
Yeah. Also, he had to pay a lot of people to throw those sheets around.
If you've got time, suss out the original cartoonists of the different characters in Aladdin, because the cartoonist for the genie looks so much like the genie, and the cartoonist that created Jafar looks so much like Jafar.
Wow.
It's really weird. But yeah, they should have just gotten him to.
Because I'm a massive sci-fi nerd, every time they say Jafar, I think of a TV show called Stargate, where there's this entire like people called the Jafar. And so
It's just one of them.
The entire
It's a
time
weird
they're just like,
tie-in.
yeah, well, they're all like Egyptian as well.
Yeah.
So they're like these like massive dudes, and they're like, and they wear like all these like Egyptian armor and stuff, and like headgear, and then there's like Jafar Kree, and it's like, come on, what do you do with all the Jafar? The Jafar homeworld. And every time they were like, Jafar, I was like, there's just a part of me that's just
waiting for the space invasion.
Yeah, I was just like...
Did you guys find it all really cringeworthy when Prince Ali, instead of Aladdin, is put forth in front of Jasmine, and he goes on this weird dumb rant about jam, and he's like, no, I would buy you. I mean, you're not for sale. I mean, that's not what I meant. It's really, like...
I understand what they were attempting, they just didn't land.
Like, it's like they tried to attempt that he's used to being confident and cocky, but not if he's having to lie and pretend to be someone else. But they portrayed Aladdin as being such a charismatic dick and such an overconfident...
He was a bit of a prick, wasn't he?
He was
just while he was running around, I was just like, this guy's just... I don't like this guy.
You
Can you imagine walking around on the street and just him like pushing you over, bumping you like,
Yeah, like you'd immediately
Aladdin.
punch the guy in the face. He's meant to be like, he's drawn as being this really young, open-faced, trustworthy kid who does what he has to do to get by. But
Yeah.
He's really likable. In this, he's got this weird greasy complexion and this really smug face. He just looks like me, but like he's just greasy and smug, and he just looks really unlikable.
Anything else before we finish this one up?
One more little thing.
Go for it.
They put the effort into making.
Jordan's little thing.
They put the effort into making all the costumes really colourful and vibrant, and then in the editing room decided to wash all of it out with all of these
Yellow.
like filters and stuff. So when they're in the desert, even though there's characters wearing like blue and vibrant greens and oranges and stuff, it's
Yeah.
all washed out with the yellow.
I also have a little thing.
Love Angus's little thing.
Angus's enormous thing.
Just a little one thing to wrap it
Overcompensating
up.
much.
Probably one of the worst things was the Godzilla parrot.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
What happened there?
I love that. I love giant animals. I love it. It happens in like every like fantasy
Yeah.
book,
But
and
it's just
fantasy
like-
film.
just
I
so out of
fucking love
place.
that.
It's
It was
just
so
so out of
random and it was so
place.
surprising. But as soon as it happened, I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
The thing is again, if you make a villain all-powerful, everything he does that doesn't work is ridiculous.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
I'm the most powerful sorcerer ever. What are
You
gonna, what are
parrots,
gonna,
become big!
What are you going to do to get him? Make my bird slightly bigger. What are you talking about? Just like immediately cut off their do anything.
Maybe do that tornado thing first.
have them
Yeah.
fly into
Or at
like
least
just
turn into a dragon or something.
create a brick wall and have them fly into that, or just make it so that they can't go anywhere. Put them in a box.
Accio lamp.
Do 1,000 other things. You
That
can
would've
do anything. Greatest sorcerer in the world.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that whole thing is like, yeah, but you'll always be the second most powerful. Sure. The genie's gonna go right back into the fucking vase the minute he's done, and then you're back to being the most
Genie in the
powerful.
vase.
That's the
the
sequel.
age-old. That's the age-old story.
All right, we're going to finish it off there. That was Aladdin 2019, Disney's Aladdin.
Yeah.
Next week we are reviewing...
Godzilla.
All right, Godzilla. Here we go. Next week.
Bro,
Here we go.
you do a fantastic Godzilla room. Star Wars.
It's Godzilla, run! Thank you for listening to Film Slash Podcast. Make sure you hit us up on all those socials for next week. We're reviewing a giant lizard. Okay, bye.
Giant lizard!